I know that most people do not know what first gen is. It could be very helpful to start there. What is first gen?
Sure. And so there are multiple definitions of what first gen is. And the one that I use in my work is probably one of my favorite ones. And
Mm,
so the general definition is that student who is the first in their immediate families, neither parent or guardian completed a college degree. In most cases, a college degree is considered that 4-year degree. But, don't forget, we have certificates, career
mm,
certificates, we have associate degrees as well, trades and whatnot. But the general definition is that not earning a college degree. We take it a little bit of a step further with the students that I work with, and we say, well, no, yes, that is a first gen student, but we also have students who come to this country whose parents came from other countries as well, right? And so some parents did receive a college degree in another country, but we still say that a student, their child, or if the guardian received a degree outside of the US, you are still considered a first gen student here because the trajectory of the parent or the guardian in another country to earn that degree looks very different than what the trajectory of individuals here in the US. Simple language like PSATs and SATs and ACTs, right? All these acronyms. Yeah, simple, right? These things are those that the parents and guardians may not be familiar with because that may not have been the case in another country. So just take it a step further by saying, you're the first in your family whose parent or guardian did not earn a degree in the US is our first
mm.
gen student.
Okay. There's also an aspect of this that I'm wondering if you can help untangle too. Not just for me, because I this comes up a lot, especially in classroom settings. And I know for professors too. When people say first gen, just first gen and nothing after. Like you just said first gen, but you also said first gen student. If someone were to say first gen, is that referring to first gen student or are there other first gen references that are in the mix? And what I'm really saying is some people will say first gen in terms of living here, not necessarily attached to college. Is there a connection? Is there a distinction?
Yeah, and I think for the most part, as far as I've experienced it, when we do just say first gen, it has nothing to do with immigration status or any of that history. Stacey Allen, for example, is a Caucasian woman who grew up in Orange County, and she's a first gen student.
Mm,
And so we actually did that at El Camino College, where we surveyed our faculty to see how many of our faculty are first gen themselves. And that's how we started the conversation. And that's how the
mm,
conversation grew at the college. And it was for that reason that a lot of times we wanted to make that distinction like, well, there's first gen in the US, but there's that first gen student. And whenever I talk about myself, I always say first gen graduate
mm,
because I do have my two older sisters attempted college, but for whatever reason, one reason or another, neither one of them completed. One completed one semester, the other one completed almost a second semester. I always say I'm a first gen graduate
mm,
because my sisters did attempt, but also my sisters are 10 years older than I am. So whatever experience they had in terms of the matriculation process and the
mm,
decision making process was very different than the process that I had because it was 10 years later and my parents were in another place in terms of the
mm,
workforce, in terms of their age, in terms
mm.
of their capacity. So I couldn't really compare my experience to their experience. And that's another thing about the first gen students as well, is that you'll think, well, my sister received a degree, so I'm not first gen anymore. No, you're still first gen. Your parents did it's all about your parent and your guardian and their status really. But again, just to go
Mm.
back to your original statement, yeah, we really do not associate first gen with your immigration status.